bring a little levity to this election, and let's have a discussion about voting and what's going on in Oceanside. And I have the delight and the pleasure to welcome two of my favorite comedians, two of my favorite people in the whole entire planet, people who have seen me through all kinds of changes. I have both the amazing, talented, phenomenal Coca Brown, and I have the delight to welcome the handsome, the amazing, the talented Talent Harris is here. Talent the comedian. Thank you all both for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, girl. We love this.
Yes, we're here.
Yeah. So for today's episode, I thought, you know what? There's one of the things that I have for a vision of Oceanside. I'm aligned with Dinah Polinitz's vision also about it being a cultural arts destination. I have had in what I call a former life, I used to be very immersed in comedy. And I love the idea of being able to reach out to my talented, gifted artist friends, comedians, because they're able to bring a certain, how do I want to say, viewpoint and levity during times of great stress and challenge. And we're just going to discuss a couple of things. We're going to discuss how it is to be an independent contractor, to be a comedian during COVID-19, voting, you know, and they're also going to take a stab at some of our local measures here in Oceanside and just weigh in, because it is important for us to bring fresh ideas onto the council, creativity and vision. And if these two don't have it, I don't know who does. So I want to thank you all both for joining me. And first of all, we'll start with ladies first there, Coca. One of the things that, why I want to have Coca is she's, how do I want to say this? In the world of comedy, it's a challenge anyway. And sometimes it is a particular challenge being a woman in comedy. And she is also not just a gifted talent in terms of comedy and her acting. She sings, she's a mom, she's also someone that has a business. So Coca, we could just talk a little bit about what you have going on in terms of business and how you've been impacted by COVID-19.
You know, first of all, it's great to see you, girl. It's been too long. But this has definitely let me know that the entrepreneur, the businesswoman in me, she wasn't gone. She just was kind of dormant. I had gotten comfortable with just showing up to sets and going on stages. And when all of that got shut down because of the pandemic, you know, I had to kind of go into my bag, as per se, and rely on my businesses that I had created and was letting other people run. And so I had to get my hands dirty again. And it has been an amazing experience. I'm a strong advocate for CBD, which is a natural alternative to pain medications, anxiety medications, insomnia medications. And so I created, I already had one business called Coca Brown Collection, which was a beauty products with creams for pain relief and inflammation, but then I also had body scrubs and things of that nature. But then I created Coca's Cravables, which was, you know, a wonderful legal edible that allowed people who are in states that cannabis is not legal can still enjoy the benefits of hemp and its components for insomnia and inflammation, pain relief, anxiety, depression, things of that nature. So I took my love for baking, because you know I love to cook, girl. So I took my love for baking and created Coca's Cravables. So now I provide people with goodies like pound cakes and cookies and brownies and muffins and cupcakes and gummies that are all CBD infused and tailored to whatever you need help with. You're muted, Kelly. You're muted.
Like I was saying, you're in Georgia now, Coca.
Yeah, I moved to Atlanta. It was 5 years in August. 5 years.
And is it legal in Georgia?
No, only for medicinal reasons, and the loops they take you through to get it, for medicinal reasons. But luckily for me, because I had gotten licensed in California, because I had invested in a few dispensaries. So I had to have a certain license to be able to do that. So when I was able to show that license here in Georgia, I was able to get hemp products that you can only get with a license or, a prescription.
And I think it's also fair to say, let's put that in the chat right now, the comment section, Venus, go ahead and put Coco's IMBD page. If I were to sit here and list all the credits of both these two amazing people.
Just list the most recent, girl.
Yeah, well, it says here, and we're going to get to talent in a minute because he's filming a movie right now he didn't even know about, so he has to go and check somebody.
But I have one of those movies that we like, I was in that? Oh, for real? And you forget, yeah.
Well, it says here.
Hey, but if I get a residual, I ain't complaining.
Right. I get a residual check for a movie right now. I have no recollection of being in it.
Well, are you shooting, or is it, in fact, it's announced that you're going to shoot The Appeal, Sister Cheryl. Is that true, Coca?
The Appeal, Sister Cheryl?
Yeah, that you're playing Sister Cheryl. It's announced. Did you know that?
No.
See, someone's trying to get at you in talent. How about Brothers Grimm? You're filming that? Girl, you guys need to go to your IMDb page.
The Appeal, Sister Cheryl, honey, Lord, I'm filming them. What? Okay, you know what?
Okay, well, Single Moms Club happened. I know that.
I know that. I was there for that.
You also Tyler Perry. You did the
for better or worse. Yeah. I was there for that.
The national commercials. You've done those.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Progressive. Yes.
Fair enough. So I'm gonna give you a minute, and maybe you might want to check out that page because they got people are saying that you're doing stuff.
I'm like, the who, the what, the where? I'm like, okay.
So I want to also welcome my brother here, Talent, and I want to say right away that Talent was very helpful during the transition in my life, both him and Coca. And I won't tell you what he referred to me as, but it was like the ultimate compliment that you would never think that would be a compliment. And not only is he a good guy, he also raises dogs. First of all, Talent, before I say anything further, you got to talk about your passion for, is it pit bulls? What is it?
Well, yeah, it's pit bull passion because they get a bad rep. They remind me of black folks. You know what I mean? When white people lump us all in one category, you got a hoodie on, you're a killer. You're a robber. How about some of us just want to be warm? Really? We're cold. We're putting a hoodie on because it's chilly outside. So when I look at the pit bull plight, it's very mirroring of the African-American plight. You know what I mean? So that's how I got involved with that over 15 years ago anyway. But let me just say this, first of all, I'm happy to be here with three queens like yourselves, and it's always a funny show to see old people with new technology. You understand? Like this new technology, something simple like unmute yourself. Oh, and Venus is over there cracking up every mistake we make. Like, look at these old people. They can't hit mute or unmute. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, I also say what Venus had to school me on when I started doing these virtual ones, and then after the show ends, here I was, hey Venus, is it off yet? Am I off the show? Am I this? And then she said, Kelly, all you have to do is push mute and click on your stop video button. I was like, oh, okay, well I can do that. Yeah. And for talent, I mean, just the number of comedy shows that you have hosted, that both of you all that have been on. I mean, Talent, let me see. You're in Mount Vernon still.
Yeah.
And you went to money earning Mount Vernon High School. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Which will be soon called Heavy D High School.
What?
Yeah.
What?
What's it gonna be called?
Heavy D. Heavy D.
Yeah.
Heavy D High School. Yeah, they're gonna name it. Heavy D is our icon that comes out of Mount Vernon, who like put the town on his back. I mean, we got a lot of people.
Is it gonna say Heavy D or gonna say Dwight?
I think it's gonna say both. I think it's gonna say Dwight Heavy D Myers.
Wow, how cool is that?
Well,
That's
and
awesome.
And speaking of which, talent, I mean, when you came through Mount Vernon, obviously, I had a cousin that was in New Rochelle, that whole area. You all, when you were going to school, it wasn't just Heavy D. You had, Jamar. You had a bunch of, and people won't know. Why don't you tell people a few people that you knew and the names? I know what you knew their names as when you went to school with them, but like, who all you went to school with, talent?
Well, Mount Vernon, first of all, in sports, we have so many players to name, but we have a championship ring in every single sport, including boxing and tennis and baseball and stuff like that. Denzel Washington comes out of Mount Vernon. The actor Leon comes out of Mount Vernon. Albie Shore, Pete Rock, C.L. Smooth, of course, Heavy D, J.B. Smooth, Art Carney, and the list goes. Michael and Perrelli, what's his name? Perrelli, and yeah, Captain Lou Albano. I mean, the list goes on. Mount Vernon is only 4 square miles, and we just keep pushing out the product in the entertainment field and sports dynamic. So it's crazy, like, and Hev is our guy because even though we all came from Mount Vernon, no one wore the Money Earned in Mount Vernon thing like Hev. Hev put it in every album, every rap, every video. Like, he visually and musically put us on the map from every spectrum. Like, you'll remember the video, Nothing But Love, with me and my good friend Chris Tucker. He called us down there to play in the Nothing But Love video, play like 2 fictitious pimps who was trying to control women that wasn't theirs.
It happens, I hear.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, right. So, and I think it's important, that we talk about this also, because when I was, when we all, met, there was there's such a difference between, new Jacks and old Jacks in comedy. And there's some, I like to think that when you were in Mount Vernon area, it was such a movement. It wasn't just about, it was such a movement. And I do feel like we're in that time again, that there's a movement for change. And one of the things that I feel is really helpful is art. One of the things that you do as comedians, and talent, I'd like you to speak to this, is the perspectives that you bring and how you're able to bring some levity. And how do you, talent, navigate through, is there a line that you try to tote to make sure you don't offend, or do you just go ahead and just be yourself and say, hey, it is what it is?
Well, I think that with experience, that's a skill that you acquire. That's like Coco will tell you, like, we have words like seasoned. When we become what we call seasoned, we're at a professional level where we know these things. It's like second nature. Like, we know, we're not thinking about, when we first start, we may be thinking about that line. Like, okay, how can I say this without saying this? When you become seasoned, it's second nature. You don't even think about it. You automatically know what to say and what not to say. So if you say something offensive, you know what I mean? If you say something that's offensive as a seasoned comedian, you meant to, you didn't care at that moment. Like, it was that important to get the point across to not really worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You learned that delivery is everything.
Yeah.
You can say virtually anything out your mouth as long as your delivery is correct.
Right.
It's about how you say it.
Okay. All right. And so, talent, some of your accolades that people know, obviously Sunset Park back in the 90s, it's like a cult classic now, bringing that up. I would say that you're filming Randy in Knock, but clearly that you're going to call somebody on that because you're not doing that. But girl talk.
I'm claiming that. Don't mess up my residuals.
I'm sorry. My favorite talent movie is where you were in the closet.
I'm Randy and Knock.
Huh?
I'm playing Randy and Knock. Check me out in my new movie.
Right. No, what was the movie? Where was the movie that you were in the closet with the blanket wrapped over you? What movie was that?
They killed me. That was A Brother's Kiss.
Oh, my God.
Kiss with Rosie Perez, John Leguizamo, a bunch of people was in there where Nick Shinlin, they killed me and wrapped me in the closet. And then the movie went back in time to show you how to get. You know what's funny is because it was only my second movie, and already I'm getting shot, so I had to put those things on, and them joints hurt.
Right.
And I was like, yo, y'all can't be shooting me in my only second production. I'm not ready. It hurt.
So, Cal, what do you have going on in your space now with your dogs? Do you breed them and then you sell them? I mean, what else do you do? And your podcast, get a shout out to all the stuff that you're doing in your space.
Well, in my space, like when it comes to the dogs, what I try to do is, if I have a female, like which I do right now, I'll let them breed one time before I fix them and shut them down, because I don't want the dog's whole life to be breeding. So I'll do it, and then I'll find them homes. Like some you sell, but some of them you don't sell because you know they're going to a great home. So that matters. You know what I mean? On my social media platform, what I did since the pandemic is everything that I had was putting off to later in the year or early next year, I just pushed up in March and April and just started doing it now. Like Coco, my merch brand, which was always doing well, I just put the gas on that, just amped up the investment on that, pushed it out there more. I went from just my t-shirts to my coffee mugs, my sippy cups, my baseball hats, my hoodies, my towels, like just more and more stuff to brand on. So that's taken off. When it comes to shows and social media, I'm on all my platforms, Twitter, IG, and Facebook, which is a total of about 12 pages every day. So I'll get up on Sunday at 1:30, I do Sunday stories. I get up Monday at 11:30, I do Motivation Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm doing this show called Divided States, where it's a political news show. And then Friday night and Saturday night, I pull out my DJ equipment. Coco know, because we got a show called Girls Night In, and I'm the DJ for these queens. They do their thing, and I hold down the music.
That is awesome. So I want to make sure we put these things on the comments. So Venus, have you been able to, by the way, shout out to my amazing campaign manager, Venus Johnson.
Venus!
Thank you.
Fresh out of middle school now, huh, Kelly?
She has been absolutely wonderful. And Venus, we're gonna talk about her after we get off of this, because I really want to introduce you all. But I will say again in front of everyone here how important she has been to this campaign, what a joy it is to have a young person like herself. And I always tell her how much tickled I am when she introduces herself sometimes, because she'll go, "My name is Venus, like the planet." And I just love that when she does that. It just warms my heart. So we're gonna make sure we get you on in that area. Make sure you put their IMBD pages. And did you catch their Instagram accounts and their Facebook pages, Venus?
Correct. They're already in the comment section.
Okay, good. All right, so now we're going to get into some of the things that are happening here in Oceanside, some of the measures. And starting with you, Coca, I'm glad that you are, your business has to do with, how do you call it, cannabis?
Hemp.
Say what?
CBD.
It's safer to say hemp.
Hemp, yes.
People flinch when you say cannabis. They flinch. They think Willie Nelson when you say hemp, so it's safe.
Okay. So one of our measures here, and Venus is going to read it for you, Coca, and just how you would feel as a hemp distributor. Is that a better way of putting it?
Yes, I'm a CBD distributor, and CBD is a derivative of hemp. So yes, that's what I am. I say I'm a legal trap queen.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
So Venus, if you can hop in and tell Coca what that's measure M, what it says here in Oceanside.
Awesome, I will. So this is measure M, the cannabis business tax, and I'm going to read it verbatim from the ballot, so bear with me, with all the verbiage, but we want to make sure that everyone who's watching, they know exactly the format it'll be on our upcoming ballots. So the following measures are to be voted on at the general municipal election to be held in the city of Oceanside on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. Shall the city of Oceanside establish a cannabis business tax not to exceed 6% of gross revenues for cannabis retailers, manufacturers, and distributors, and not to exceed 3.5% of gross revenues for cannabis cultivators to generate approximately $1,900,000 annually until voters change or repeal the tax, to fund general city services, including enforcement efforts against cannabis businesses operating illegally. So essentially, in short, this is the cannabis business tax, Measure M.
They want to tax people who go and purchase it and such. They want to put a tax on that. Your feelings about that?
Well, technically speaking, do they tax food in California?
Yes.
So they want to put a tax when you go to the dispensary and you buy your lozenges, your throat drops.
Yes.
They want
And
to tax that.
They want to tax that. So Venus, why don't you give the first give, because we have for and against. Why don't you give the for and against as well that is written by the city of Oceanside?
Okay, so I'll start with the for. Arguments in favor of Measure M. Voting yes on Measure M will allow the city of Oceanside to impose a business tax on cannabis, in parentheses, marijuana, businesses in the city. Measure M is a proposed tax to be solely paid by cannabis businesses operating in the city, including any future permitted businesses types. It requires these businesses to pay their fair share of taxes. Another quick for argument would be in 2016, California voters, including 56.9% of Oceanside voters, approved Proposition 64, which is decriminalizing marijuana use and authorizing local regulation of cannabis businesses. Subsequently, the Oceanside City Council established a permitting process for some of the establishments of medical cannabis businesses and for cannabis cultivation, agriculture. Retail storefront dispensaries remain prohibited at this time. So,
And what is,
sorry. So essentially, just to kind of wrap that up, the arguments for would require businesses to pay their fair share of taxes, cannabis businesses to pay their fair share of taxes. And when it comes to the against arguments for Measure M, it says citizens must vote no on Measure M. The tax is taking advantage of the taxpayer in Oceanside in order to bail out politicians. And again, this is just information from the city. We have no, I'm not saying that this is what my opinions are or anything. This is just the information from the city.
And I will also summarize.
Is that a fact or is that an assumption?
Say it again, Coca.
Is that a fact or is that more so of an interpretation of what the tax would be used for?
The people who are writing the for and against, it's an interpretation of their viewpoint about it. I will say that with what I have been hearing, those that have been supporting the measure, they feel that this is going to help bring some much needed revenue into the city, especially during a time like this. And those of people who are against, because there's so many people, and I don't know if you all are familiar, we have Camp Pendleton right here, so that's the Marine base. So we do have a lot of people who suffer from PTSD. We have people who, just people who suffer from trauma and such, and they feel that people who use cannabis as a form of medication, that to tax them an additional to them getting their medication, they feel that it's unfair, and also people are tired of being taxed. So that is kind of where the territory lies. Does that also kind of help you?
Usually, my biggest thing is when they're trying to increase a tax or add a tax, I want to know specifically where the money's going. Because if it's going towards education, if it's going towards foster care, if it's going towards something that I feel is lucrative, then I might be more keen to say yes. But if you won't tell me where that tax is going, then I'm a little bit more keen to say no. So that's my biggest thing, because, right now, communities, we want to blame national government, but it starts with state and county government to make sure that our schools and our foster care and our systems like that are funded well and taken care of. So if you're telling me that's going to go towards something like that for my community, I may take that L and say, okay, I'm going to pay that tax for that. But if you're not going to tell me what it's for, yeah, then I'm like, what you need extra money on top of them already being taxed? Medication is already high as doo-doo, as this point, you know what I'm saying? So you're going to tax me on top of that. Where is this extra money going to?
Thank you, Coca. And that is kind of the territory people are feeling. They're feeling very mistrustful of government anyway, and that there are some other things on the ballot that has to do with taxing, and they're feeling like, okay, more and more and more, and I think
if our schools are not getting better, if, my veterans are not being taken care of, if foster care is in shambles, if all of these things I'm seeing not getting better, but yet you're constantly taxing me, then yeah, I'm gonna side eye you. I'm definitely gonna side eye you and say, money. I need to see records. I need to see receipts. I need to know what's going on.
Okay, got it.
Especially if the politician show up with new Air Jordans on.
You still see,
Hey, see, this is what I'm saying.
I do not want to see a mayor in a Bentley. Okay, how about that?
Exactly. And hey, Tom, do you have any other thing you would like to add in before we get to you, Talon? Anything else you want to add about the cannabis tax? Should there be one? Should there not be one? You want to add anything?
Well, I'm with Coco. I agree with her, because we know how America works. You open a business, your business pays the tax. We get that, but it has to be justifiable, and it should. I agree with her. If you are selling CBD, hemp, or marijuana in a certain area, and you're taxing it, we all would prefer that go immediately to the local government, as opposed to go all the way kicked up to the feds. You know what I mean? It's a local business, so the taxes should affect the local. It's no different than, now there's a movement in the inner cities where you have all these hair product stores, right, where the Asians predominantly run them, and they're putting the pressure on these store owners and proprietors to hire people from the neighborhood. Like, you have this store here, you're making money hand over fist. You don't have one person from the community working it.
Mm-hmm.
A delivery person, a stock person, somebody to clean up, anything. Like, you can't keep doing things in these communities and disrespecting them.
Right. I don't trust any beauty supply that doesn't have a sister in there named Lucretia to tell me what unit to buy. I don't. If I walk in there and I'm like, where Lucretia at? Because she gonna know what kind of hair I need. She gonna know the kind of lace front I didn't know. I need at least, I need more.
So let me ask you, Coca, what are you, BC? What are you? If I tell you, are we talking too deep here for people to understand what that means?
Am I B or C?
Hey, the brand, the hair, when you go and buy hair at the beauty supply store.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, honey. Depending on the year, during the winter months, I'm a 1B30. Okay, but during the summer months, I'm more of a 4J. I know my colors, yes, honey, and my textures. You know what I'm saying? I like the water weave. I like the water curl, the water weave. Is my everyday hair. But when I want to get really nice, I want the silky straight, bone straight, yaki bone straight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know what I like.
And I think it's important, and Talon is also raising, and we're going to get also about voting in the Black community, but it's also something that I wanted to share, that there is to have, and people are like, well, Black people have businesses and it's fine or whatever, but there's Black women spend a lot of money in the beauty industry, and it's something that Talon is alluding to, that there should be, there's a feeling that there should be more of an effort to reach out and to extend employment in the local communities. Yeah, go ahead, Talon.
I mean, actually, because it's like this, there's places called destination places. That's one thing. But when you plop down and intentionally, geographically put your store inside of the community, and sisters, like you said, spend a lot of investment and money and time in the beauty, industry. So if you're going to be in that neighborhood, it does no hurt to give, even I'm talking a minimum job. I'm not talking about the people got to be your manager or your part owner. I'm just talking like a minimum, somebody that, like in politics, we love to see ourselves in someone else because we know that all things are possible. But if we keep spending our money in a place and we don't see ourselves, we start to feel like the money's not staying in the community. That dollar bounces outside the community. Don't people close that shop up, take that dollar outside the community, and the black dollar does have no circulation. And that is a big difference than our community and other communities. That populates 19 to 25 times in a Caucasian community, and in the black community, 1 to 3. I give it to this guy, he takes it, count it, and he lives an hour and 45 minutes away. So that dollar never sees the light of day in the community ever again since I spent it. We have to keep fluctuating our money in and out of our community to go, again, goes back to our schools, our roads, our programs, all of that stuff. So, each one teach one. If you're coming in there to make money, nothing wrong with that. Kick back a little bit.
And I think that's exactly what's happening here in Oceanside in terms of we're encouraging, when we talk about economic growth and development, is encouraging all of our Oceanside residents to, especially during this COVID, is shop local, hire local, really make an effort to support our local businesses, just like you're saying, Talent, so it can continually to stay here in Oceanside and continue to support, because that's how we're going to grow. And I know that when I sometimes sit on these forums, they say, we're gonna go, and we're gonna get money from Neverland, we're gonna bring them here. And I'm on the forums, I'm thinking, in COVID, we're not gonna be able to bring big businesses. What we have to do is really just think small, encourage entrepreneurship, ingenuity, create things here, and support. So I really do appreciate you both commenting on that. So Venus, we're going to give the next one to Talent about the term limits. If you could be so kind.
Awesome. So this is Measure K, the term limits for mayor and city council member. Shall the ordinance adding Article 17, Section 2.94 to Chapter 2 of the Oceanside City Code, establishing limits of 3 4-year terms, whether consecutive or not, for the offices of mayor and city council member be adopted. So just to reiterate, the Measure K is summarizing should term limits, whether consecutive or not, be adopted in the city of Oceanside.
Well, I'll be honest with you, that would take a lot of thought, and we got barely over a month now. I would have to sit down and really do the due diligence, because just hearing what the measure is sounds like a double-edged sword. You have to say to yourself what's more important, because we can't discount the good people in government because of the bad people. We have both. We got to be honest. We got both. So it helps weed out those people that's been sitting there too long, that are just collecting checks and taking up space with no change for the better. And then it hurts the people who are good at what they do and fight for the right stuff, that hit 3 terms and got to go 2. So it's a double-edged sword. It's what we call a catch-22. But each community, I think this thing here, you really got to sit down and say, what do I have more of in my community right now? Because this could always come back up in future elections. But right now, you got to say, are the people in government locally now, do we have more bad than good? Do we have more people that's been sitting on the pot and not pissing? You know what I mean? Or do we have more good than bad? And that would sway my vote to what direction I would go.
Well, I know with here in the city of Oceanside, the feeling is that there have been certain people in our council that have been there for a while. And whether you want to agree if they've been a positive or a negative on the council, they feel by them continuing to be on the council, there's not enough innovation and fresh ideas. But I also, for me, when I hear the measure, there's a lot of partisan politics that goes on our council right now, as in our nation. the Oceanside City Council was designed to be a nonpartisan body. One of the reasons why I'm running as an independent, there's other reasons, but we need to stop playing party politics and personal business while I'm running. And the other thing is, if we get rid of these individuals or one person or whatever that seems to be able to get elected over and over, do we really address the partisan politics? Because what happens is after we get that person out, if we still have people that are doing the same thing, all we're doing is changing the face and then putting the same energy in place. So that's also kind of where I was thinking about it.
Yes. I mean, there needs to be a changing of guards. I mean, because you've got young, fresh minds. And I mean, I think this country is indicative of old mentality being phased out. I think with all the, you know, as they would like to call it, rioting. No, it's not rioting, it's protesting. Let's just, you know, it's different. You know what I'm saying? They're marching. But, you know, that old mentality of it's been this way for centuries, therefore we're going to stick with it. You've got an influx of a new mindset, of a new generation coming in that's like, no, we have to be a sign of the times. We have to upgrade. We have to change. So, you know, anybody that can go into public office and die there, no, there needs to be a changing of the guard every few years because things change. I mean, talent knows as much as I do, just in stand-up comedy, there's been a changing of the guard. Our whole world that we knew as in stand-up has completely changed. And some of us dug our heels in and didn't want to conform, and we've gotten left behind. And those who have conformed and are utilizing social media and utilizing these different platforms, we're still keeping our place in this mass of sea of comedians or whatever. So I think the same thing should apply to politics. It's like times change, people's views change. I mean, the fact that we are in 2020 and having to say Black Lives Matter lets you know it's time to change the guards. Okay, my grandmother's been gone and having to drink out of a separate water fountain. Why are we still having this conversation? It's time for a changing of the guard. And it's just inevitable. Times change, people change, views change, and some people need to be changed.
Mm-hmm. But before we go any further, I have to say, $200 will get you 20-yard signs. That's right. We got them in Spanish. We got them in English. Bring the sun to your lawn. That's right. $200 will get me 20-yard signs today. There's a Spanish and English. Thank you. Venus Johnson, go ahead and put that donation button right up in there for everybody who wants to donate today so we can make sure we make the impact. Again, bring the sun to your lawn. All right, thank you.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Yes, Kelly. Yes, girl. I hope you got some version.
Got it. So, Talent, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that. We're going to go into our final thing. And you can, go ahead, Talent. You want to add anything?
I was going to say, you know, that's a good slogan, you know, send $20, get their ass out of there.
Go, child, big fix it.
Can you go?
Okay, Venus, make sure you are on that mute button with Talent. Just want to make sure.
I thought you already knew, girl. You acting like the boy done changed. The boy raising pit bulls. You think he's changed? The boy got his pit bulls. Come on now, come on.
Well, I appreciate you you both. So I want to ask. I don't know, Coca. I sent through a link. It was called. Again, for those of you who are just joining us, this is Kellie Davis running for Oceanside City Council District 3 in Oceanside, California. And we're talking to the amazing talent, the comedian, and Coca Brown. And one of the things that I was concerned, me being, well, no, there's a couple Black candidates running. I'm the only Black candidate running in my district. And sometimes it's one of those things of kind of trying to navigate worlds. And one of the things that's coming up, obviously, in our national elections and also local, is trying to get Black people out to vote. And this has been a real thing for all parties trying to get the Black vote. And I don't know if, I know Talent said that he saw the link. I don't know if you saw the link yet, and we're not going to play it, but it's called Get Your Booty to the Poll.
Yeah, girl, it was shot here in Atlanta, girl. I was almost there. They called me, but you know, I wasn't ready. They caught me off guard. I wasn't thong ready when they called me. So I said, I'm a pass, but I'm a vote. Yeah, you know, I was supposed to be in the commercial too, but you know, I hadn't made it to my wax lady.
Yeah, really?
Okay, so I will say this.
By any means necessary.
Okay, so let me just say this about this. So maybe you all can, I'm actually going to, if you all, I'll be interested to hear the conversation you all have on your shows as well. For those that want to look at it, we're not going to show the link, but you can go to YouTube and put on, hey, Venus, it's Get Your Booty to the Poll? Is that what it's called, Venus? Okay, thank you. And it's caused a little bit of a stir in our community because of some of the content, which it features exotic dancers explaining some of the election process and to encourage our Black community to go out. And of course, a lot of people in the Black community are upset by this video and you can just imagine why with exotic dancers. And there's some people that's like, hey, no, they're encouraging.
The same people who watch P-Valley.
P-Valley, and P-Valley is a show that's on, is it Netflix or is it?
Stars.
Star. Yeah.
So Talon, I'm gonna let's have you take this one first, and your feeling about the video. And the question is, do you feel that it is going to encourage Black people, those that were not going to go to the polls, to vote?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, it is a profession. It is a career for people. They do have a fan base and following. And I think that we're in desperate times and we need people to vote. So wherever you can catch those people to tell them to go vote, I'm not against you. I don't care if you make a construction video, a booty shaking video, a crawfish catching video. If you got to go wherever you think the folks are to get this message out, and we know the folks be in the strip clubs, and into that, and like I said, you got people that put themselves and kids through college as a career doing this. So I don't have anything against, I know it's controversial. People are like, oh, what are you trying to say about Black people? I don't look at it like just a Black thing. I look at it like everybody has indulged predominantly into this profession, whether they went on their lunch break, whether it's guys' night out, whether it's a bachelor party, whatever the case may be. You are going to reach some people. And I think that's the whole point of this election year, is to reach as many people as possible, give them a vote.
Okay. Coca, you saw it. What's your general thoughts, and is it helpful?
Okay, when I first saw it, I thought it was a joke. I thought like, oh God, I did. I was like, oh, and then I realized it was real.
Right.
And I was like, wow, how innovative. Because those Black folks that are uptight right now would never admit they go to the strip club. So they're reaching those who are in the strip clubs who might not feel it's necessary to vote, but if Chandelier tells him to go vote, he'll feel motivated, because she said, how can you make it rain if you want that bull crap? And you don't go in the strip club broke. You want to be able to make it rain. So, I mean, you're reaching a particular part, a group of people that are not going to watch CNN, who are not going to watch Fox, who are not going to watch MSNBC, are not going to follow the polls, will not be watching the debate tonight, but you just reached them while they're eating their T-bone, throwing $20 bills at you. So I'm like, at this point, by any means necessary, because right now, the Black vote is going to be the determining factor. We saw what happened when we didn't vote in 2016. So we've got to vote. And I mean, everybody, anytime you've got oh God, I can't think of his name right now, but he paid all the fines for all those felons in Florida to vote.
That's my ex-mayor, Bloomberg.
Bloomberg, thank you. He paid all the fines so that all those felons could vote. Now he know daggone well, Brother Jamal, fresh out of a 25-year bid, ain't voting for Trump. He knew what he was doing. They're trying to convert that to a blue state, and I ain't mad at him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If more people did that, because I think it's a crop. If you've served your time and you've done your time, why are you still going to take away my right to vote? I'm still an American. I'm still a human being. Like, how are you going to take that away from me? So I commend him for that. But right now, with the Black vote being so crucial, we cannot repeat 2016. We cannot. So by any means necessary, like I said, they called me, but I just wasn't ready. They caught me off guard. I didn't have, my thumb was in the dry cleaner. I wasn't ready.
So do you think, and this is just a little bit of where my mind goes, before this election, back before I even considered running, last year I was doing a documentary. I was starting it with a girlfriend of mine, Heather Conklin. If you out there, congratulations on your TEDx. Awesome. But she and we were doing a video. It was for people who never voted, people who are first-time voters, and people who didn't vote, and at that time was the last election. And a lot of those really hardcore people, they have been so mistrustful, disillusioned at the current system. And it's particularly in our community, there seems to be a kind of person that's like, no matter what, they may not vote, even when there have videos that seem to encourage them to do so. So I guess the question is, those hardcore individuals who haven't been voting, when they see this video, do you think that those hardcore non-voters, do you think that would still shift them?
Well, when I seen the video, 3 out of 4 of the booties will get you to vote. There is one booty in there that's questionable, but 3 out of 4 of the booties, let me put it this way. I never.
Get rid of your talent. Don't you say anything too wrong, talent.
No, I'm not.
This girl is running for public office.
I never did early voting. Now this year I did early voting.
Yeah.
I wasn't even in my state. Because it was influenced. It was very influential. So I think that I could bet my bottom dollar that you're going to get a crop of dudes out of here and chicks, like Coco said. These are people that are not watching the news channels, not following politics, but will say, you know what? Because Mercedes and Chandelier said it, I'm going to go vote.
Yeah. I mean, not only is it going to reach out to the men, it's going to reach out to all those women who are exotic dancers who want to change the narrative that I'm just a dumb broad on a pole.
Yep, I believe
it. I'm educated. I'm politically astute. I just happen to dance on this pole 4 nights a week. Like, it helps change the narrative.
And what do you say to maybe those Black folks that are like, oh my goodness, not this again. Can't we have a sense of decorum and dignity, and that they should just do it?
That's black people for you, honey. I mean, yeah, you're gonna get that. But my thing is, it ain't for them. That's all. You know how many times you see a commercial come on that ain't for you? This ain't for you.
Right. Every time I see a Viagra commercial, I know that's not for me.
Yeah, genital warts. That's not for me.
Right. It's not for me.
Well, let me say this. We are coming to the end. Why we did not, for everybody out there, again, $200 to get you 20-yard sides. Bring the sites to your mind. We need you. Yes, and you go ahead and just click that donation link, and you go ahead and you can go ahead and also in Spanish. Okay. So before we close, the reason why there's one measure we didn't tackle, and on Friday at 2 p.m., we're going to tackle Measure L, which is the North River Farms referendum. And I have two citizens that are going to talk about this. So one of the things that we're doing with our campaign, Venus and I, is making sure that we bring user-friendly citizens, everyday citizens that talk about these issues. And I definitely wanted to have Talent, the comedian, and Coco Brown on with us today. And Talent, again, give them where to find you and what's upcoming next for you.
All right, so tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., I'm on all platforms doing my thing with Divided States of America, tackling politics and everyday news we have, and giving it a lot of opinionated stuff on that show. My Twitter is at It's Just Comedy. My Instagram is Talent the Comedian, and Facebook King Talent Harris. So all those platforms, check me out 10 a.m. tomorrow and the next day. And then over the weekend, I got, girls' night in on Saturday. So we're looking to have a good time.
Okay, thank you. And Coca, please give your company name as well to your CBD business.
Yes.
What do you have upcoming? Where can they find you?
Okay, you guys can check out my CBD businesses. One is thecocabrowncollection.com, and we specialize in pain relief creams, body scrubs, and 10% of every sale goes to the National Lupus Foundation. That's thecocabrowncollection.com. And if you guys want something really yummy to eat that'll help you sleep and take the blues away, hit me up at cocascraveables.com. That's COCOAS. Craveables, CRAVEABLES.com, and get your order in. You guys can check me out in literally 5 minutes on my conversations with Coca that I do on IG Live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm going to be interviewing real people, real conversations, small business owners, holistic healers, you name it, we've got it. People that you need to know. And that's on my IG Live at Coca Brown, One Funny Mama. You can just put in Coca Brown, COCOA Brown, the letter O, and I'll pop up with that blue check. Follow me and watch this on live. Friday nights at 9 p.m., you guys can check me out on the Coca and Gary Show. We do a live Zoom recording for iHeartMedia every Friday night. You can follow me on IG, click in my link tree for the link, and join us. This week we have Anthony Dalton II from the BET hit show by Tyler Perry's Sisters. So make sure y'all check that out. And on Saturday nights, you can check me every Saturday night, 11 p.m. on Zoom as well. The link is in my link tree on Coca Brown, One Funny Mama IG for Girls Night In. It is a party, bring your cocktail, and we talk to real people. Honey, we have a good time. We've had Lamont Rucker from Greenleaf. We've had Milan Christopher from Love and Hip Hop. We've also spoken to mayors and council people. Trust me, it's where you want to be. So check me out. Just follow me. Google me, Coca Brown, COCOA Brown. Don't forget that A.
I know you got to run, Coca, so we'll see you. And we
all right, see you guys later. And get the sign in English and Espanol. Get the sign. Bring a little sunshine to your front yard. Okay, bye, girl. Love you.
Thank you, Coca, and thank you, Facebook Live, for joining us for our housing, health, and what's on the ballot